Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have a fun looking puzzle here. This one's called Morning Exercise by Azvaril. I don't believe I've done a puzzle by Azvaril before, so this will be good. I can see how this could be morning exercises. These are I guess they're doing some yoga poses or something along those lines. However you care to look at this picture and determine what the visuals of it are. But let's take a look at these rules and see if we can jump into this thing. So we've got our typical normal Sudoku rules. So every row, every column, and every 3x3 box contains the digits 1 through 9 once each. We've got digits on thermometers increase starting at the bulb. So pick any one of these guys. This would be the low point, and the digits will increase as they get to the tip. Not in any specific order, but they must continue to increase in value. Then we've got purple lines, must contain a set of consecutive digits in any order without repeats. So that's this guy right here. These digits must form a consecutive set, but they do not have to be in a particular order. Then we've got along green German whisper lines, digits must differ by their neighbor by at least 5. So this is the German whisper line here. And any one of the digits or cells on this, whatever the value is, the values next to it must be different by at least 5. Then we've got Kropki Dots. So cells separated by a black dot have a 1:2 ratio. So that's one of any of these guys. Whatever this guy is, this is half or double. Then we've got a cell separated by a white dot must be consecutive, and then the disclaimer that not all dots are given. So there's no negative constraint there, but these are the 2 white dots. These 2 must be consecutive, i.e. they have a difference of 1. That's it. So those are the rules. Pretty straightforward, and it's again a fun looking puzzle. So link is in the description below. If you feel the need to, like, comment, subscribe. It'll help me out quite a bit. We're getting pretty close to our 1,000 subscribers, which I thank you all who are subscribed. And let's get into this thing. So where do we want to start on this? Now, I don't know if we have really enough to go with on our thermos just yet, because they're 5-cell thermos. So there's a multitude of ways you can make that work. Because you can have anywhere from 1 to 5 in the bulb, and then 5 to 9 in the tip, and then however in between. The other way to look at it, I was going to see maybe there's something about this column because it's completely filled with clues. But the only thing we can say is that 9s can't be in any of these, so there has to be a 9 on here somewhere. We cannot make that same point. Well, we can say the same thing for 8s, I guess. So that will actually give us some information for this German whisper. So that's a pretty good jumping in point, I guess, here. Because an 8 can't go in any of these as well, because if you put an 8 here, you'd have to have a 9 and a 10. We know that there's a 9 and an 8 on this German whisper in this 3-cell set of the German whisper as well. So therefore, they must be separated because there has to be a lower digit between them. So therefore, these 2 cannot be an 8 or a 9, because that would break that. So now we know what our high-low grouping is. So we know, and I'll run through it if you are not familiar with it, but if we have a high digit on a German whisper, the next one has to be low, then high, then low, then high, because they have to be 5 apart. That's just how it works. So we know that these digits are all high digits. I'm going to keep it without coloring at this point, just because I don't know that there's going to be enough coloring that goes along with it to really justify that. But we can say this is not a 6, first off. We can say this is not 8 or 9. Obviously, because there's an 8-9 pair here, and this one can't be a 6, because both of these would have to be a 1. We also know that all of these are low digits, so we'll put those in. This one now can't be 3 or 4, because there's a 6 or a 7 next to it. Same for this guy. And what else do we have? That seems to be the restriction for the German whisper. Now we can go back to our thermos, because if you'll see, we have this guy right here. Well, there's only one thing that this digit could possibly be. It can't be 9, 8, or 7, because then you can't finish our thermo. So this has to be our 6, which means these both have to be our 1s. This has to be a 7. This cannot be a 1 anymore. And we can now go up our thermo. Since this is a 6, this has to be 7, this has to be 8, and this has to be 9. And that 9 removes this from being a 9, which removes this from being a 4. And that 7 actually just puts this as an 8. All right, so we've got a little bit of traction there. Now we can look at this 1, because on this Kropki dot, the only thing that could possibly work with a 1 is a 2, because we can't have a 1. And do we have enough information to move to a different area? Well, the 2 here, we can just put the 3, so that's just an easy thing to get. I don't think we can do a whole lot with these. We know a 6 goes in one of these two, but the remainder of them can really be anything. So, what can we say maybe about this thermo now? We know that we can't have an 8 and a 7 on here anywhere. So that leaves this guy here as a maximum of 6. Now that might, I'm going to put in just a single digit just to visually put it. And we'll put what the maximums can be. Well, this clearly can't be a 3, so we can get rid of that and put a 2. Now we know this also can't be a 5, because we can't put a 5 on a black Kropki dot, because you can't have or double a 5. So that can't be 5. So that forces this down to a 4, which means this forces this down to a 3. Now, the 4 can work here, because this could be a 4 too, and this could be a 1. So that is possible. I think we just need to put in the remainders now of this, because I think what we're going to say is this has to be a 3 when we start looking at each individual space now. We know that the maximum this could possibly be is a 4. So therefore, the maximum this can ever be is a 3. Well, it can't be a 2, and it can't be a 1, so it must be a 3. Now, if the maximum this can be is a 4, well, it's going to have to be a 4, and this is going to have to be a 2, and this is going to have to be a 1. So now we've got a few digits here that we can start working with, like say these 3s, because none of these can be 3s now. Well, neither of these can be as well, because we're on the thermo, so this is our 3. Now, we could still put a 5 here, so I don't want to rule that out, and this could be a 6 or a 9. Yeah, so we're going to know there's a 6 over here. So we're going to get a little bit more information, but let's just put that in. This is either 5 or 9. So we know one of these is a 6. Now that we have the 3 and a 6, we can say that this is not from the 3-6 pairing for a black Kropki dot. As we know, there's only 2 groupings that we can put into a black Kropki. It's either 1, 2, 4, 8, some combination of those, or it's a 3-6. So we know this is from the 1, 2, 4, 8 combination, and we can make some reductions here. It's not incredible, but we're gonna get something at least, so we can kind of at least put that on the board for the moment. Now, this 1, 3, 4 is looking back onto our German whisper, so let's just use that. It forces this to be a 1. We essentially know what all of these are, so now we're going to be able to know what these are, because these have to be in ascending order, and if there's only 3 digits left in this column, they're going to have to be in that specific order. So this is going to have to be 5, this is going to have to be 6, this is going to have to be 7. That's going to give us our 8 and 9 here. Now that 9 is going to look up here and give us our 6 and our 5. And then we can put our 9 there. Good. Now what can we look at? Are we getting into our Renban yet? Or do we need to take a longer look at what's remaining up in these regions here? Well, I guess we can continue this because we have a white Kropki here. We know this has to be either 4 or 6, and there's a 6 there already, so obviously it can't be 6. Those are little bits of information we have. What do we have left in some of these regions? I have a feeling, I'm not going to go to it just yet, but the possibilities of this Renban now are going to be reduced in such a way we might be able to make a conclusion. Because we're knowing we have to have a 1 down here somewhere. We know we have to have a 2 down here somewhere. We know one of these is a 4. So if we can pinpoint a low digit, well, we know, okay, so we know what these are, because we got a 9 here as well. So we know these are from 1, 2, and 9. This one is not 9. So let's get rid of this, and then let's take a look and see if there's any other groupings of digits maybe on this side that we can start to determine what's what, or we can just use this. This has to be from 3 or 8. Okay, that's what's going to do it for us. So this 8 sees this, so we know we have a 3 on here, so this is 8 here. Now, if we know we have a 3, 4, 5, 6 is the highest we can go, would be 7. We can't have a 9 on here, so get rid of that and put it here. Now, we know that we've got a 3 on our Renban, and we either have a 1 or a 2. So these digits have to be either a 1, if there's a 2 on there and we're going lower, the 2 for the same reason. We can't have another 3, 4, 5, or 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the highest we can ever go. So those are our options. Now we're going to know this one's not a 1 or a 2, and it's not a 5. And what else are we going to know? This can't be 1. So we know we're up to, yeah, we already knew essentially that we have a 4 and a 5 somewhere on this Renban. This one can't be a 6. We cannot quite make the determination of whether there is a 6 on it or whether there is a 1 on it, because those are the two outliers that it could be. Now, what about this guy being a 4? Is that possible? And the answer is no. So there's our key in. If this is a 4, this has to either be a 2 or an 8 to satisfy our black Kropki. Well, we got 2s and 8s looking at it, so this has to be 6. It forces this to be 3. Now that we know we have a 6 on here, we have to be able to get up to 6 from 3. So we have to have a 4 or 5 pair. So let's get rid of those, put our 4 or 5 pair in, and we know this has to be a 2 because we can't go down to a 1 and then get back up to 3. So 2 and 1. All right. Now that we have most of this kind of settled, let's put in our option for what this can be, because it's one of the last clues that we have out here that we have some information for it at the moment, and we'll come back to some of this other stuff in a second here. So we know this has to at least be 5 in terms of its highest, and then 4, 3, because it can't be 1 or 2. Okay, so that didn't do anything at the moment, but it's there for us to look at it. Now, can we look maybe in our rows to see what we have left over? The answer appears to be yes, we can. Okay, so we have 2, 4, and 5 left on this row. We can't put a 4 or a 5 here because we already used 4 and 5, so this has to be the 2. This has to be the other 4 or 5. Now let's look down here because I noticed we have 2 2s 2 3s, and 2 6s all looking into here. So these are from 2, 3, and 6. If that's the case, the 2 and the 3 have to be on the white Kropki, and we have a 3 up here. So this is 2, this is 3, and this is 6. That's going to eventually tell us what this digit is, because we know what these are. They have to be from 1, 7, and 8. So we've got a 1, 7 here. We'll put the 8 there. This can't be 1, so we'll put the 7 there. And this will be our 1. And our leftover digit is going to be that 9. Now we still didn't actually get into this one yet, which is kind of interesting, but what are we left with in this region? We have to have a 1, and the other one's a 4 or a 5. We don't quite have anything there yet. We can look a little bit quickly. I was looking to see if we had this thing figured out yet, and it doesn't appear like we do. So what I was going to say is we can look at this black Kropki. We know this cannot be from the 3, 6 pair because we have 2 3s looking at it. So therefore it must be from the 1, 2, 4, 8. We can't have a 1. So this is from 2, 4, and 8, which means there has to be a 4 on it. This can't be a 2, by the way. So one of these must be a 4, because it's either 2, 4 or 4, 8. All right. Now, I think we're kind of used our clues up, so it's probably best to switch over to just looking at the remainder of what's going on in terms of Sudoku. Like these 6s looking up here. So this must be a 6. These are going to end up being, what, 4 and 5? Okay, that will be helpful. Good. Because that 4 or 5 here is going to say there's a 4 or 5 pair here. So therefore, this is 3. And this is going to be a given 7, it looks like. And just making sure we don't have anything else very obvious there. Let's look in this region for now, and then we'll come back to these other ones in just a second. So we need to have 5, 7, and 6. There's not, oh, the 5, okay. Well, these can't be 5, so this is 5. These have to be from 7 and 6. The 7 here gives us the 6 and the 7. Again, we still haven't quite gotten into this black Kropki, which is a little bit interesting, but it is what it is. So, what are the remaining digits? Just so we have them out there. We need the 2, the 8, and the 9. This can't be 8. This can't be 2. That appears to be correct. These have to be 1, 4, and 7. There doesn't appear to be anything just yet that does tell us what those are. So that's fine. Okay, let's go down here, I guess. We have to get a 2 in here somewhere on this column, and it can't go there, so we'll put it here. This is left over as a 4 or a 5 now for that column, so we have, again, a 4 or 5 pair. What else needs to go in this region? We need an 8 and a 9. And the other one's a 4 or a 5. There's not a whole lot we can do there. We know one of these. No, we don't. Okay, I was going to say something that wasn't quite correct, so I'm glad I stopped myself. What else we got? Let's look at these guys then, because these are going to be at least pairs of given digits. So we've got 3 and 4. That's what it is. So can't put a 3 here because of that. So this is 4 and 3, and that's going to break up our 4 or 5 pairs, which is nice. We can get those off the board. Now these 2 digits have to be from 5 and 6. We've got a 6, so let's put the 5 and let's put the 6. Let's put these in now. They, again, are going to be 4, 8, and 9, and this can't be 4. What else? What's going on here? We have a 2, 4, 8, 9 quad, which is kind of interesting. I'm saying interesting a lot for some reason. So this must be a 3. It's the only remaining digit that we can use. And we do know that this has to be a 2. and we could have said this wasn't a 4 anyway, and we could have put the 4 here. But let's do that since I just saw it. But this must be our 2, and we know there had to be a 4 over here. Therefore, this is not a 4. And that 4 actually sees, oh, that 4 if I were here, but I didn't even look on this side yet because I haven't gotten there. So this is from 4 and 7. This can't be 4. Did we get, yes, we did get a 1-7 pair, which means we have to have a 6 in this column. It can't go here, so it goes here. This is either 8 or 9 because all that's left over for the column. That gives us a pair with this 8 or 9, so we know what these two digits have to be. They're 1 and 5, it seems, and we have a 5 here, so 1, 5. We can remove 1s from both of these. And what do we have left over? We have to have 7, 8, and 9 in these 2 spots. And this can't be 8, and this can't be 9. All right, just making, okay, and we do have a 4-7 pair, which is going to resolve that. So this cannot be 7, so therefore it's 9. It's going to be 8, 7, and that's going to unravel everything, I believe. 2, 8, 9, and that 8 is going to give us a 4, so 7 and 1 and 7 and 1 and 4. Now that 8 is going to give us our 9 and our 8, and that's going to finalize everything for us, 9 and 8, and there you go, solution is correct. So that was a nice fun one. Just took a second to kind of get into it, but once you realize this logic on this German whisper, it was smooth sailing. Fun puzzle, absolutely enjoyed it. Hope you all did as well, and check in the next one. Thanks a lot.